So, as of right now, I've just read the most recent chapter of Oshi. This is being recorded before what is now last week's video talking about the anime. And oh my god. All I have to say, as like my initial, just out there statement, is I think Oshi is probably the best manga I've read in a very, very long time. Well, I say very long time. It's not. But it's definitely the best manga I've read. At least right now. You can definitely put some recency bias into that, but yeah, either way. It's just incredible. Like, there's so many genius things about the writing. One thing I'll say in the description of the Oshi video from last week, I put that I saw a tweet of someone saying that Oshi is a combination of Akasaka Aka's wit and intelligence and Manga's depression. And yeah, I completely agree. That's a very good way of describing it, on a surface level to, get someone interested. I thought it was a very fun statement about the show. Well, manga. But this manga is just fantastic. The whole, just mystery aspect that is built up and almost subverted during the show, for fuck's sake, during the story, is just fantastic. There's a certain point I tweeted out about when I was reading it. Follow me on Twitter, link in the description. Shameless, I know. Where, there's a decently long section where the story isn't focusing on the mystery aspect, the finding out who... There's obviously, I should just say real quick now, obvious spoiler warning, I'm going to talk about the plot to some degree, so if you aren't caught up, probably don't watch. That's all there is to it. Anyway, but I'm not trying to find out who their father is because, well, as far as Aqua, our main character, is concerned, he's dead already. That's only because Aqua wants to be free from, revenge and the guilt that he's been living with. He wants to be happy and live a normal, air quotes, life. And then when you get that scene at the end of episode 98, chapter 98, where things get back to how they'd been, the darkness fills Aqua's eyes once more, those black stars shine, well, I guess shine's probably not the right word, once more. It's, oh my god, it was heartbreaking. Because Akane is a character I really like. For anime only, you'll meet her soon, although an anime I probably shouldn't be watching at this point. She's fantastic. I'm going to talk about some shipping real quick. Yes, I know, cringe, but fuck off. Akane is way better, just way better than Kana, in my opinion. It's just the way it is. Now, in terms of who's better for Aqua, well, Kana, because she's probably would be less accepting of Aqua, just killing people, whereas Akane is more than willing to help him with that. And yes, it's great, she's supportive, isn't that nice? But also, a murder bad, even if it's somewhat justifiable. So that's why I think Kana is technically better for him, but Akane is the way better character, in my opinion. But that's also because we got a lot more of her, I feel, in terms of her relationship with Aqua. So Aquaka, it's even canon for a bit, is the ship I stand. Not that that's relevant, really, but it's... Well, I guess it is, actually, because it's quite an important story beat for a good amount of the manga. That's really interesting. Especially with how Aqua uses Akane. Even, when he isn't obsessed with finding, the culprit. It's a genuine... Just... Oh, it's so good. Whereas Kana, she... I think... embodies more of the purity even though she herself says she isn't pure because she's, you know, foul-mouthed, got a bad attitude and all that, she embodies the purity of, you know, the more nice side of the acting world or the entertainment world, whereas Aqua and Ruby are very much drenched in the darkness of entertainment. Obviously, real life, it's not quite as extreme, I hope not, as is portrayed in the manga, but that's fiction for you. It's allowed to do that. And it's just fantastic. The story writing is incredible. And one thing I want to say, like this crackpot theory I've had in my head for a little bit, especially that I noticed, particularly, so when they go to, I can't remember where it is, but it's where the hospital that they were at before they died and reincarnated was. I can't remember what prefecture it was or what the place was called. Fuck, that's really annoying. But that hospital, that place, where Ruby finds out from that mysterious girl, whoever she is, with the crows, that's something that I forgot about until I started talking about the scene. Who the fuck is that? Why do they know what they know? Like, what? They're creepy as fuck. It's really interesting. But anyway, as I was saying, when Ruby finds out about, you know, what Aqua was doing effectively, and her stars in her eyes that were white, the one star she had becomes black, and she gains the second one. I had this like thing click in my head. I might be completely wrong, like I said, it's kind of a crackpot theory, but the black stars, at least as far as I'm concerned, or have like deduced, I may very well be wrong, as I've said, are a visual metaphor for obsession. As when, obviously, you know, Aqua is, you know, trying to, you know, before he finds out that the dad, in quotes, is dead, you know, he has that black star, he's a darker person, he's obsessed with this cruel, dark thing that he's, you know, well, obsessing over. I'm not really, speaking very well, am I? But when Ruby finds out about it, this is after Aqua has, you know, given up on this obsession. Ruby doesn't know what Aqua knows, even though what Aqua knows isn't, well, it's the truth, but it's not the correct truth, but as far as he's concerned. She gets 2 black stars in her eyes. Not just the one that Aqua had previously, but 2. And to me, this is her becoming obsessed with, you know, killing their father, or at least, as far as she's aware, the person who did it, you know, who caused Ai's death. But she's also taking on Aqua's obsession, which was to kill their father because he had figured that out. So she takes on both of their obsessions, hence why both of her eyes have those dark stars in them. And then we later find out that their real dad, Hikaru, has those black stars in his eyes. And I'll get onto that. But obviously, later on, Aqua gets those black stars back, and they're in both of his eyes as he's given up basically everything. He's given up on happiness to pursue this obsession of his. And now it's completely consuming him. There is no thought of, you know, living a normal life anymore. He is completely obsessed with it. Hence why both his eyes have the black stars. And with Ruby, well, she changes completely after the black stars appear in her eyes. As for Hikaru, I believe, Kirimi Hikaru, I believe is his full name. His stars in his eyes, well, we've seen him kill 2 people in the story so far. I indirectly, and another actress, whose name I can't remember because I literally have only just finished reading it, later on. And he has the black stars in his eyes, which is obviously where they inherit that from. And to me, I think he is also obsessed with something. Whether it be just killing talent because he's a psychopath, or something different, something else that he's obsessed with. But he is clearly obsessed with something, because it seems that he only decides to kill that second actress when we see, after we see her have those white stars in her eyes that I had and Hoshi, and the Hoshino siblings had. Until we see those, we don't really expect this guy that we don't even know is Hikaru to kill her. So whether his obsession is with killing talent, which is what I somewhat believe, but I don't know if, that was very shaky. Is, you know, the white stars, I think, are a visual metaphor for hope and talent, if you will. Because again, we also see Ai with the black stars in her eyes. We see Ai with those black stars, and it's been hinted that she had a real wish, which wasn't playing at the dome, which I believe will end up being her obsession, because we know she wanted a family, but I wonder what the truth of that, you know, behind everything really is, and what her obsession would be if I'm correct with, you know, what those black stars mean. But that's just some crackpot theory I had that I wanted to just mention. Tell me your thoughts on that in the comments, because I genuinely want to hear what you think about that. That's something I'm kind of interested in. Obviously, they're all visual metaphors for things, but obviously they show up. The stars show up. Like, again, that second actress, Yura, I think her name was. Yura. Yeah, that was her name. Yeah. And also when Akane pretends, you know, she acts as Ai, she gets those stars. I'm wondering what... That's why I'm not really sure if they are, you know, talent per se, because otherwise they'd have them permanently, but, yeah. That's why the white stars, I think, are just... Mainly were there to make Ai's death more visually impactful, because it fucking does. Like, it worked. But I feel like there might be another visual metaphor weaved in with the stars in the eyes. But that, well, waits to be seen going forward. Yeah, I really wanted to mention that. That was the main reason for recording this video. But other points I want to talk about. As I said, I really like Akane. I'm going to keep saying that. Akane for the win. But genuinely, the way this story leads you along is fantastic. The way it leads its own characters along, obviously, you know, it's written that way, but fuck off. Right? It's really interesting. I love just the character relationships that keep getting, like, torn apart and tied back together and torn again. It's just fantastic. I genuinely love it. One of my favorite things in anime and manga is, you know, human relationships. It's why the romance genre and psychological genres are some of my favorite, especially when put together. They can have such interesting ramifications, and that's why Oshi no Ko, I think, resonates. Well, I say resonates. Appeals to me so much because it has these elements as well, being a mystery drama, which is another thing I really, really love. So, like, all in all, the story as a whole hits a bunch of notes that I just really like. So of course I'm gonna love it. And rant on about it for an unnecessary amount of time, just saying that I like this thing and not really explaining to it in much depth why. I really hope I'm getting my point across well enough, at least. But yeah, I fucking love this, and how all of the little smaller plot points that have been, you know, laced in here and there are coming together now, as I feel like we're getting toward the climax of the manga. If you are caught up, you know what I mean with the movie, The 15-Year Lie, as it's called. Oh my god. I honestly think... I really want Akane to get the role of Ai in the movie, in the manga. But I don't know if she will. I think they might give it to Ruby, just because it would be poignant. But I do want Akane to get it, because I think that would be really interesting for the mainly. It'd just be really interesting. Ruby makes the most sense, but Akane would be the most interesting. At least from my perspective. That's because I'm always down for more of characters I enjoy, as I think most people are. As for Frill, I don't think she's getting it, because again, she's been very much a side character throughout most of the story. I don't think she's getting the role. But that's just me talking about the most recent chapter, at least as of where I am. In time, at the very least. Or at least with the English releases of the chapters. God, it's so fucking good. I can't wait for the next chapter to release. Like, oh my god. I think by the time this video goes out, it might almost be out. Yeah. Which is really unfortunate because it's right before a uni deadline. But that, like, not like it matters. Anyway, that's not the point. Seriously. Oshi no Ko is absolutely incredible. I've rambled on incoherently for far too long at this point. It's been about 15 minutes. I hope I got my point across to some amount. There's definitely more things I could say and probably will say later down the line. Maybe I'll even make more videos on it in the future when there's more chapters released. But as of right now, these are my thoughts on the manga, at least some of them that I'm able to attempt to get out immediately after finishing it. Maybe I should have left a bit more time to think about things a bit more before I made the video. But I wanted this to be kind of raw and just run with it. So yeah, and especially while that like crackpot idea in my head of the eyes was, you know, still fresh. But anyway, yeah. Nothing else to say really. Other than, I've been Animosity, you've been you, and I'll see you next time for another video. Ta-ta. For now.